Why does one country in the Middle East seem to be constantly at the center of global tension? Yet most people barely understand its real story. To some, Iran is a threat. To others, it's a symbol of resistance. But the truth is far more complex. Because long before headlines, sanctions, and conflict, Iran was one of the most powerful empires in human history. So, how did it go from a global superpower to one of the most misunderstood countries in the world? This is a story they rarely tell you. Long before modern borders existed, Iran was the center of one of the most powerful civilizations in human history. This was the era of the Persian Empire, one of the largest empires the world has ever seen. At its peak, it stretched across continents, from parts of Asia to North Africa and deep into Europe. It was not just powerful, it was advanced. The Persians built roads that connected distant regions, created systems for communication, and developed one of the earliest forms of centralized administration. At the heart of this empire stood rulers like Cyrus the Great, a leader remembered for something rare in ancient history: respect. Cyrus is known for allowing conquered people to keep their culture and religion, a level of tolerance that was ahead of its time. This empire shaped ideas of governance, law, and civilization that influenced the world for centuries. But like all great empires, it did not last forever. Over time, the Persian Empire fell to foreign invasions and internal shifts. Yet even after its fall, its legacy remained deeply rooted in the identity of the region, because Iran was not just a country that appeared in modern times. It was a land with a long, powerful, and complex history, and that history would shape everything that came next. For centuries, Iran remained a powerful and independent civilization. But in the modern era, everything began to change. During the 19th and early 20th centuries, major global powers, especially the British Empire and the Russian Empire, started competing for influence in the region. Iran became a strategic target. Why? Because of its location and its valuable natural resources. Foreign powers began to influence Iran's politics, economy, and decisions. At times, this influence felt like control. Then came a major turning point in 1953. A democratically elected leader, Mohammad Mossadegh, moved to nationalize Iran's oil, taking control away from foreign companies. But shortly after, a covert operation involving foreign intelligence agencies helped remove him from power. This event left a deep and lasting impact on the Iranian people. It created a sense of mistrust toward outside influence and shaped how Iran would view the world for decades to come. Because from Iran's perspective, foreign interference was not new. It was part of its modern history. And this is where the path toward deeper conflict truly begins. Everything changed in 1979. For years, Iran was ruled by a monarchy under Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, a leader who maintained close ties with Western powers, especially the United States. But many Iranians felt something was deeply wrong. They believed the country was becoming too dependent on foreign influence, and that power was concentrated in the hands of a few. Discontent grew. Protests spread across the nation. Workers, students, religious leaders, people from all walks of life began demanding change. At the center of this movement was Ruhollah Khomeini, a religious leader whose ideas inspired millions. As pressure mounted, the Shah was forced to leave the country. And in 1979, a revolution reshaped Iran completely. A new system of government was established, the Islamic Republic of Iran. This was no longer just a political shift. It was a complete transformation of identity, ideology, and direction. Relations with the United States collapsed almost overnight, and one event made that clear to the world: the U.S. Embassy hostage crisis, when American diplomats were taken and held for over a year. From that moment, Iran and the West entered a new era, one defined by tension, suspicion, and conflict, because after 1979, Iran was no longer just another country. It had become something the world would constantly try to understand, and often misunderstand. After the revolution, Iran's relationship with the world changed dramatically. The country entered a period defined by tension, isolation, and conflict. Tensions with the United States deepened over time, leading to economic sanctions, political pressure, and ongoing diplomatic standoffs. These sanctions limited trade, restricted financial systems, and impacted Iran's economy for decades. But Iran also began building its own regional influence. It supported allies and groups across the Middle East. In countries like Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon, this created a complex network of alliances and rivalries. At the same time, conflicts in the region became more frequent. Direct and indirect confrontations shaped global headlines. Iran found itself at the center of geopolitical tensions, not just with the U.S., but also with other regional powers. Meanwhile, inside the country, life continued, people adapted, the economy evolved, and a new generation grew up under this reality. But outside Iran, perceptions were often shaped by headlines, not history. This is where misunderstanding begins, because what the world sees is often only part of the story, and what is unseen is where the real truth lies. Today, Iran stands at the center of global attention, but for many people around the world, what they know is shaped by headlines, not history. They see conflict, sanctions, and political tension, but they don't always see the deeper story behind it. Iran is often judged through a single lens, as a threat or as an opponent, but the reality is far more layered. It is a country with a long history, a complex political identity, and a deeply rooted cultural legacy. From the legacy of the Persian Empire to the modern challenges shaped by the Islamic Republic of Iran, Iran's story is one of transformation, resilience, and conflict. It is a nation shaped by both internal decisions and external pressures, which means its story cannot be understood from one perspective alone. Because misunderstanding often happens when history is simplified and complexity is ignored. And in the case of Iran, that misunderstanding has shaped global opinions for decades. So what is Iran really? A threat? A victim? A rival? Or something far more complex? The truth is, Iran is a country shaped by history, conflict, pride, and survival. A nation that once ruled vast empires, then faced foreign interference, then transformed through revolution, and now stands at the center of global attention. But most importantly, Iran is often misunderstood because its story is incomplete in the eyes of the world. And that raises a deeper question. How many other countries are we misunderstanding? Simply because we don't know their full history? Because every nation has a story, but not every story is told fairly. If you want more untold stories like this, stories that go beyond headlines and reveal the truth behind history, Backhand Index Pointing Right, subscribe to the channel. Backhand Index Pointing Right, turn on notifications. Backhand Index Pointing Right, and join the journey of uncovering the world's hidden truths.